everybody, I'm Dr. Haffizulla and you are here in my kitchen. Today we are back to Cuba making a delicious Cuban dish, Ropa Vieja. This is a national dish of Cuba. It's a meal that's really steeped in the beautiful deep history of this country. It's a rustic, humble dish and it perfectly tells the story of the country's culinary and cultural evolution over the last half century. In fact, it's so fascinating. Now this dish itself, like many great parts of Cuban culture, started its life in Spain. Its name literally translates to old clothes. And the story goes that a penniless old man once shredded his own clothes because he could not afford food for his family. He prayed over this bubbling concoction and a miracle occurred, turning this mixture into a tasty, rich meat stew. Now, we're not totally sure that this story is true, but we know that it is wonderful nonetheless, and we're going to pull it into the story, right? We do know that this recipe, the Ropa Vieja, is over 500 years old and originated with the Sephardic Jews in the Iberian Peninsula of Spain. Because cooking was not allowed on the Sabbath, the Sephardic Jews would slow cook a hearty stew the night before. The dish then traveled to the Americas with the Spanish people, where it became a staple dish across the Caribbean and Cuba. And although the recipe, of course, has been tweaked over the years, the fundamental base of Ropa Vieja remains today as it always has. So let's get cooking some chicken Ropa Vieja. Welcome back, everybody. I missed you. Well, we are traveling again across the Caribbean, but we are back to Cuba. I want to send a shout out of love and thanks to all of those who recommended this recipe to me. And it's something that I love eating out as well too. It's chicken Ropa Vieja. So basically old clothes, right? But chicken style. And we're going to pair that with black beans and rice and make some air fried plantains today. So let's get started. We have a lot to accomplish today, and the kitchen already is smelling vibrant from all of the seasonings and the ingredients I have here. So I have a little bit of stock, chicken stock, vegetable stock, together here in this pot. It has been bubbling and boiling and waiting for my chicken. So I have some chicken breasts here that have already been seasoned. The recipes you'll find online, and you want to have flavor at every single angle. So I'm going to take my chicken breasts, lay them down right into here. So it sort of steam cooks a little bit. We want to get it nice and cooked all the way down because, hey, this dish, we're shredding the chicken, right? It's going to look like old clothes. So we're going to make sure that it has a chance to do all of that. Just go ahead and you can pop the juices right in there because that'll add additional liquid for this to steam and cook. And just turn up the heat a little bit so you can get this rolling. Okay, we're gonna put the cover back on right here and turn up the heat and let that get going.
Jack
Hi.
was feeling kinda, so he stopped by the CVS Health Hub,
Welcome.
where our provider ran some tests and realized that he needed help to manage his diabetes.
Whoa.
So we recommended a doctor,
Thanks.
worked with his insurance, and got him on medication. And our care concierge
Me again.
helped him find the right gear.
Bye.
Experience healthier made easier at a CVS Health Hub near you.
And what I'm going to use today is actually parboiled brown rice. I find that it's easier to cook with, it's faster, and in it we're putting some bell peppers and onions and garlic. We're gonna have a lot of delicious flavors in here. I'm gonna make it as close to authentic as possible. Of course, I've got to put my own little spin on it, right? I'm gonna start off by first heating up some olive oil in our pan. Make sure it's about on medium heat or so. It's just extra virgin olive oil. Right in here, just get it to coat the bottom of that pan as it heats up. And the first thing I always want to add, I never add my garlic first because I don't want it to burn. I want it to just meld with those flavors. So I add my onions in, right? Now you can use any kind of onion in here. I like the yellow onion or the white onion in here. It's perfect. It melts well, and once it turns translucent, then you're ready to add everything else in. The rice and beans, you can make this ahead of time. A lot of these things you can make ahead of time, and you can entertain your whole family and friends as they come over. So now my oil seems like it's getting there. I'm gonna add in our onions straight in, just like this. Give that a little bit of a stir. Always love the smell of onions in the extra virgin olive oil. Give that a minute so that it just has enough time to just get translucent. Other things we're going to add in, of course, I mentioned some bell peppers, and I have some black beans. These have already been drained. Now, if you choose to keep the water, remember the water sometimes already has salt in it, so you don't need to add extra salt, right? The very end, after we're done making the black beans and rice, we're going to add in just a splash of apple cider vinegar, and that punches up the flavor and gives it just a nice, refreshing taste to it. And wonder, what is that taste in the background? That's just a little bit of the apple cider vinegar. Because this is all going to cook down anyway, you don't have to wait till the onions get completely translucent. If you're hungry like I am and you just want to go ahead and get started with everything, just go right ahead. There's no wrong way to do this. So here's my garlic, chopped garlic, adding that right in. Ah, smells amazing. All those pieces in there, right? And I'm going to saute up and soften up my bell peppers right in. We really wanted to start with the chicken and get the black beans and rice going before we worked on our plantains. And what we could do is make sure that you preheat your air fryer. This would be a good time actually to get that started. I'm going to put it on air grill at about 400 degrees and let it start to preheat just a little bit more because we're almost ready to put those plantains in. Alright, so give this a stir. Oh, look at the beautiful colors in there. I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit more. And as far as the liquid that you're going to use, just make sure that if you use stock, vegetable broth or vegetable stock, watch the salt content in there. Make sure that it is not too high. The low sodium version is better, and remember, you can also dilute that stock with water. Flavors are already going to be in there from the spices, right? I have a little bit of cumin that I'm going to add in just to deepen flavor, give it some earthiness. I will be adding a little bit of salt and pepper just to season it up. Here we go, salt and a little bit of cracked black pepper. Much or as little as you like. Okay, and give that another stir. I see my chicken is coming along nicely here. So I love these see-through pots. You can see right through the lid, and you see that it's turning white. It's cooking all the way through. And actually, to make that process go a little faster, because my chicken breasts were so thick, I cut it right through the middle to make them nice and thin, and so it has a faster cooking time. Let's take a look at it. Check on it and see what it's doing. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Sort of a steam bake. So let me use a new pair of tongs, because these are looking more cooked. I'm not going to use the same pair of tongs as before. Ooh, let's grab that here and flip it and see. That is beautiful. Now don't worry about the color here, because remember, for the chicken Ropa Vieja, we are infusing it with colorful spices and sauces. And that's what gives it its characteristic reddish color, right? So here we go. That's actually looking, I can't believe how fast this is cooking. Incredible, guys. So what we're going to do is just leave that on for another minute or so. It doesn't even need to be covered at this point.
Special thanks to our sponsors: Aetna CVS Health, American Heritage School.
I think it's almost ready to go. Let us give our black beans and rice mixture just another stir. This is going to be very colorful black beans and rice. It's more like a veggie black bean and rice, right? So as that's going in there, I'm going to add in some of my rice. I have some parboiled brown rice that we're going to add in. You can use any kind of rice you like. I like this one. It's pre-cooked. Of course, it has more fiber in it. And you can always throw in a little bit of cauliflower rice in there. It melts in. You don't even know it's there. Okay? So let's just add a little bit of that in. Right here. I'm going to give it a little bit of some toss. Here we go. Beautiful. I think my air fryer is almost ready there. Let that stir around. We're going to add in a little bit of vegetable stock right into my rice and beans mix. And before I add all of it in, I'm going to add in black beans straight into the pot. Look at that. Just beautiful. Just give that a stir. Just like so. A little bit more. I think we can get away with adding just a touch more of that parboiled brown rice right into it. Okay? Going to let that give it a stir and add the rest of my liquid to it, and then cover it and leave it alone for a minute. But before I do that, I am going to add in those beautiful bay leaves. Let's see if we have it right here. We have some bay leaf and oregano that we're just going to throw into the pot. Give it a nice stir once more so that melds all the way through. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell the kitchen, guys. And look how beautiful this pot is. Look at the colors in there. Every color that you want to eat. Let's cover it back up. Ready to go. It's already cooked all the way through, so it's sort of ready to shred. Now this is a beautiful dish. The Ropa Vieja is a gorgeous dish that you can use with leftover roasted chicken. I actually have some here to show you. So this was a leftover rotisserie chicken that we had. You can use this, with this dish using the same sauce base, and it's amazing. So it's a great shortcut. This dish typically takes hours at a time. You could make it in a slow cooker, but use your leftover shredded chicken or even turkey. For Thanksgiving time, if you're having turkey, it's a good time to use that. So here we're going to go. We're going to start with our plantains, right? And get that rolling. Now I see that this is ready, perhaps, for a little bit of oil. I'm going to give my air fryer a nice healthy spritz. And it's kind of ready there for a moment. All right, let us cut up this plantain. So what I like to do first is cut the ends off, just like so. And the darker it is, the sweeter it is, right? It's really ready for you. So you can take those pieces and cut it off. And just down the very back of it, just cut a little bit of a sliver. And that helps you to peel this beautiful plantain. Look at that. It's coming right off. Stunning, right? Just drop that into one of the trash bowls that you have nearby. And I'm going to cut these on the bias, just like this. Just on the bias. Try to make my slices as equal as possible. See how beautiful that is? Now there are natural sugars in here, and that is going to be the strength of this. You will not miss deep frying this at all. Just in the air fryer, it's the perfect way to enjoy these gorgeous plantains. Look at that. They're so beautiful. And you can again also make this ahead of time. Right here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and add them in to the air fryer. I'm going to grab another pair of tongs and just put them, next to each other, giving them enough space. You want to make sure that, you hear that sizzle? You want to make sure that they're not crowded, all right? Just pop them straight in here, right? They all should fit. Now we're going to spritz it with a little bit more extra virgin olive oil, just like that, see? And we're going to put it back into the air fryer and let that cook, okay? Ready for our chicken? That chicken is so done and ready for us. Look at that. Now the thing about it is, make sure that you use different pairs of tongs. I always talk about the food safety part of it, right? Making sure you're not mixing the raw chicken juice with the cooked stuff. I'm just going to put this literally right on my counter. Let's clear some space here. Go, like that. Because we're going to shred this. This This is nice and cooked and ready for us. Now we're going to be using the same pan, and I'm going to let a lot of this sort of boil down a little bit because we're going to be adding a little bit of olive oil and other seasonings in there. So let this just burn out a little bit. And here's the fun part. You get to shred up this chicken, right? I like to use 2 large forks. You can shred it together and you just pull them apart. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We're literally going to take them and shred them apart just like that. However you choose to do it, there's no wrong way to do this, right? See with the grain of the chicken right there? And you can shred this apart. You notice the meat is cooked all the way through. Again, as I mentioned, you can use leftover chicken if you have leftover chicken. You could use beef for this as well. Just pull it apart and just shred it. Don't want that to enter our pot. Shred the rest of it. We're gonna get the Ropa Vieja part of our dish taken care of. Let's make sure that our plantains have enough time, okay, as well. So what we're gonna do first is add a little olive oil to the same pot that I cooked the chicken in. Look at that. See all the delicious flavors at the bottom of that pot? We're gonna use that in this dish to give some depth. So I have my olive oil going in. And to that, we're gonna add some onions straight in. Look at that. It's going to absorb all of those gorgeous flavors. Turn your heat up a little bit. I know that I've turned the heat down before. Just like so. Okay. I am going to turn up my heat just a little bit here. That, keep going. Now sometimes you could use bell peppers in this dish. Many times it is used in this dish. But I've opted today to put my bell peppers into the black beans and rice to give it a little extra flair and color, right? I wanted sort of the deep, rich redness of this chicken dish to sort of shine on its own so that the colors pair well together. If you wanted to go the traditional route, you may have those peppers just sort of added in there anyway, right? So let's get this going a little bit. Why don't we check on our plantains over here and see if they need a little bit of a turn. Oh, they are looking beautiful, everybody. Let's just flip them over. Just like so. Look at the grill marks on there. From the air fryer, you have some nice grill marks. We're going to flip it over so it has a nice chance to brown nicely on the other side. And at this point, you could actually salt them, okay, before they come out. Now all of those are flipped over. You could add a little bit of salt to it. At this point, I'm going to use this salt shaker right here. Just a little bit of salt over the top. That's all you need. Let it finish for another few seconds in here. By this time, my onions are ready. See, they're nice, and I'm gonna add in a little bit of my chopped garlic. Straight in, just like that. Let that just cook down a little bit. We have some other items here that give that beautiful hue, like tomato paste and tomato sauce, right? So we're gonna add in the tomato sauce right now. See, I've got my beautiful tomato sauce. Just pour it straight in, just like that. I like to use a little spatula to make sure I get as much of this as possible, because this is a key component in this dish, just like so, okay? And to give it a little bit more of a punchy flavor, you have tomato paste. Gives a nice tang to it. Add that right on the top, just like that. Just give that a little stir all the way through. And get the onions incorporated, tomato paste. Just let that keep going a minute, just like so. All right. Now I have a couple more things in here. I'm going to add in a few bits, some whole black peppercorns, just like that. I'm going to add in a little bit of chopped olives. We're going to do that in just a little bit. I'm going to add the cumin first, give it some nice deep flavor in there. Now let's add all of that chicken right back in, everybody. You can take a nice little scoop like I have here. I'm going to add that chicken right back in. See this? Shredded chicken, straight back in. It's coming together. I hope you're as excited as I am. Look at that. Just what we want to see. Okay, give this a stir. It's beautiful. Look at that, it's beautifully coming together. Now you could add in a couple of chopped olives if you'd like in here, and I'm going to add that in. Add an additional sort of salty element to it, and olives just in the right amount, because it is a pickle. Actually is really good for your gut health. So I have a couple of olives with pimentos in them. I'm just going to add them here and just rough chop a couple of them, and then we're going to also add these in, right? So literally just rough chop a couple of them, just like these. These were cut into circles from before. And you know what? Let's just check on this. I see that we need to add a little bit more water to our rice and beans. Let's make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. We'll stir that in a second. Let's go back to giving this a bit of a rough chop. And our plantains are smelling good. They're smelling like they're almost done. Let me check on you. Yep, they're about done. I'm going to turn off my air fryer and let them sit in there and crisp up just a little bit more. Okay? While these olives are kind of roughly chopped in here, just like so. You can take just a nice knifeful. You can use the same guy if you'd like from right here. Just add a little bit of that in. Okay, just as much as you'd like. I don't want too much of that in there. And you can choose to add in some more liquid if you'd like. Now I'm going to also add in some Cuban peppers. Cuban peppers are very similar to bell peppers. They're sort of a light, sort of not spicy at all. It just really has the same sort of taste as the bell peppers. It just gives another layer of flavor. And look how gorgeous that is. I'm going to mix that in. Oh my goodness. Our chicken ropa vieja is coming together beautifully, everybody. I'm going to just cover this with just a little liquid, and then let those peppers cook down just a little bit more. You can add in other spices in here if you choose to. We can taste it at this point for a little bit of salt. See if it needs a little bit more. If it doesn't need any more, then you're good to go, okay? Yes, perfect. It does not need a thing. Oh, I'm happy. I hope you're happy. I'm gonna add a little bit of the stock into here just to let it have more of the gravy. And as you see it right here, you want to give it a nice little stir. Get all of those peppers in there. Turn your heat down to low medium. So now that this can simmer, because remember the chicken is already cooked all the way through. You're really just trying to make sure that the delicious tomato flavor, tomato paste flavor, that gets in there. But the olives, that just added such a delicious punch of flavor. Okay, I'm gonna cover this for a second. On low heat, just let it sort of simmer. Now let's check out our rice over here. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. That's come together beautifully. And the peppers are cooked, and remember this is parboiled brown rice, so it really had a fantastic opportunity to just finish its cooking process while melded in to the other flavors. Have a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna add that in. Can add some bay leaves into my rice here. Just let it finish that cooking process with the additional liquid that I see in there. We're gonna just lower the heat all the way down and just let it finish till it gets a little bit fluffy and ready for us. Okay, you ready to see what our beautiful plantains look like, everybody? Let's take a look. We're gonna put the plantains onto this little plate right here, getting it ready for when we are almost going to be plating this, okay? Use a pair of tongs, and look at these beautifully cooked plantains. Already been salted. They have little grill marks on them from the air fryer. I love that. And they are going to melt so beautifully with the rest of our dish. Okay? In just a moment, we're gonna come right back and make a delicious, refreshing orange naranjada. See you in a minute. Sparkling orange naranjada is literally so simple. It's orange juice diluted with some sparkling water. So I already prepared my glass, as you see, with an orange slice and some lime, quarters on the side, and I've already put some orange zest into my glass. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you don't need any fancy shakers or anything like that, you just need a glass. Take some crushed ice, just put it on the very bottom of your glass, just like this, right? And we're going to add in your favorite orange juice. I have some delicious orange juice right here, just like that. And this has enough sugar in it, you don't need to add any other sweeteners, just this. And we're going to top it off with just a little sparkling water. And that's it, guys, that's it. And you see there's the orange zest coming up. Look how beautiful that is. It's like a jewel, like a Caribbean jewel. Now, I'm going to toast to everybody here before we put our dish together with this beautiful orange naranjada. So I'm going to take a nice healthy scoop of that, just plate it right at the base. This is just going to set the stage for the beautiful and delicious bright red chicken Ropa Vieja, right? I'm just going to spread it out a little bit across my entire plate, just like that. You can let the bay leaf stay back in the pot there and just move this around just a little bit. So we have a nice base of rice. Look at the colors on that plate already, everybody. Isn't that stunning? Here we go, just a little bit more, just to even it out. And we're gonna top this now with the star of this meal, which is our chicken Ropa Vieja, everybody. Look at that. Look how stunning this is. Oh, it's come together beautifully. And look at the shredded chicken, how it's wearing that coat of red. It is proudly displayed right here as a center star. And the Cuban bell peppers in here, we've used beautiful Cuban bell peppers in this dish. It adds just another layer of robustness and mixes it up from just using green bell peppers. So we're gonna add that right here in the middle, just like so. A nice healthy pile of this gorgeous chicken that's been shredded. Look how stunning that is, everybody. So beautiful. Now you could, if you'd like to, you use a spoon and drizzle some of that red sauce from the Ropa Vieja all across. Let's make sure we hold on to our plate nicely. It's getting heavy with delicious food on it. So let's just give that a nice little bit of a drizzle. And we're gonna add in our plantains right on the corners, just like that. Look at that, beautiful plantains. Studding the corners. The rest you get to enjoy since you cooked it, right? Feel free to share with your family if you'd like. Now we can top this with a little bit of fresh cilantro. I have some fresh cilantro right here. And there we have it, everybody. Chicken Ropa Vieja with black beans and rice and plantains, okay? And this is our gorgeous drink. So I want to toast to you, everybody, to good health and a long life. I welcome you to join me for the next episode, and I can't wait to share food with you again in my kitchen. If you have a sweet tooth, try these natural alternatives to sweeten your dishes and drinks. You can add a generous sprinkle of cinnamon and a healthy splash of real vanilla bean extract on cereals, in your coffee, and other dishes to enhance that sweetness just enough to crush your sugar craving. Add mashed ripe bananas, pineapple, pumpkin, dried dates, date sugar, or coconut sugar as a healthy sweetening alternative to refined sugars and syrups. Another option is to let the natural sweetness of your food, such as in ripe plantains, beets, berries, mangoes, and more, take center stage in dishes and non-alcoholic drinks. Such a sweet life if done the healthy way.